online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Keven Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
If you get in trouble.
Hello, AFTERBUZZ TV Bar Rescue fans. Keven Undergaro here, and I'm so excited. We don't have Mia tonight, but we have the next best thing. We have alter ego. You're like I don't want to say Bizarro Mia, because if you know Superman, I don't think it's quite Bizarro Mia. I wouldn't say it's Mia 2.0, but it's alternative Mia. Could we say that?
Yeah.
So we have the one and the only Lisa Marie Joyce, who, if you're a fan of Bar Rescue, you know her. And along with many of our legends, you know, and we have several of them, to me, we're talking, you are a top 1% Bar Rescue expert. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
No, come on!
Generous.
It's so true.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
By the way, and I'm like so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm such a fan. How many are you finding you're getting people tweeting at you, recognizing you?
Yeah, and I love it. There's been a ton of people that reach out and ask me recipes or just say hey, and every once in a while I'll get that mean tweet, and I will always put it on blast because people are rude for no reason.
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a very dark culture.
And it's a fantastic amount of people that will come back and be like, no, what you're doing is awesome. And
wait, where would the okay, yeah. Again, no, I want to know why people would be mean tweeting, but again, it's a stupid question because we have this just so much darkness in our culture, and unfortunately, one of the bad things with the internet is it's really opened that Pandora's box. Like, oh my God, I can be all the misery I have in my heart now. Oh my goodness, I can let that out to the world and answer for none of it.
Absolutely.
So where does some of the hate you get?
Well, the most recent one was I got a random message on Facebook from someone I don't know who just said, your tattoos are cheesy and you look like an idiot and get some class. Just really quick. And I took a picture of it and then I posted it, and my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful followers attacked
Smart girl.
the holy, can I say shit?
Yeah.
The holy shit out of him. And they were writing him messages, but I will say that he wrote me back and he said he was so sorry and that he thought I didn't read that stuff, and being a...
So then why would you do it?
Right. And I let it drop, but I appreciate
it's okay.
the apology.
You can accept the apology, but sometimes I'll go a step further because I believe in education. So when I get those attacks, I just keep asking questions, and then I finally just try to, get through to them. Like, so why? They obviously maybe they just want a response. So, I
wonder what he did that day. Like, people were asking, like, are your feelings hurt? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm tough.
Please,
that doesn't bother me at all.
No.
It was more so I wondered, like, what did he do that day? And then when did he sit down at his computer and be like, oh, Lisa Marie, I'm really going to get her.
This is her day. Yeah, you know what?
Like,
it's what always frightens me is this is how people are wired, and that's what scares me. I think that I just wish more people could. Right now we fight them directly. We take those people on directly, but I wish more people could get into just how not cool that is. And I know that doesn't make sense because people are kind of doing that, but really because I do want to say, and I've seen certain people, and I'll ask them, like, that you wake up every day just to hurt that's your life, and like you're excited about that, like how, like that just confuses me and also depresses me at the same time. And by the way, in the bar world, and this is one thing I always say about this show, so bringing it back to Bar Rescue, is I feel like alcohol in bars bring about that darkness. And when we see a lot of these dysfunctional owners and their staff, we're seeing a lot of that as well.
Absolutely.
And you see it, right?
And that's how Bar Rescue was born.
Okay. But see, that's why you're the alternative Mia, because I'll say to Mia, like when I ask her any bar war stories, she's only worked for really good owners and really good businesses. I have not. You know, I came up in the carnival business, so being a carny for 10 years, it was like the worst human beings. And then I worked at some dingy bars, and we had a lot of, like, the regulars were alcoholics. So I'm sorry, like, that's not something that spreads a lot of happiness and joy. So tell me about your bar experiences.
I started as a busser and knew from the moment I was 15 I needed to get behind that bar because they were just so cool. I've just bounced around. I started dive bars. My biggest is TGI Fridays for 10 years as their lead trainer and master bar trainer, which has been really cool.
Right, so it's corporate, you're getting benefits, so it's nice, right? You know what I mean? Like you're a little taken care of there. Plus it's a nationwide brand which conjures respect and what led to Spike. But you're still... But
I've definitely still worked in a place called Sweeties in Los Osos, California that was awful.
It was awful.
I would love to get her on the show if she would.
Sweetie?
Sweetie.
Is Sweetie the owner? No.
No, she was a past owner. They kept the name. But
okay, is she still around? Is the business still around?
From what I hear, she.
Okay, if you come back. Okay, and whoever's in the booth, remember we need to get Sweetie's information. No, we'll get her on the show.
Yeah, let's get her in here.
And no, we won't want her in here. We don't want her. No. But we can get her on the phone.
Yeah.
No, we can have we could do a little rescue.
She was
effort over the phone.
She was interesting. Like the patrons, I would work a 7-hour shift and not one person would come in. And she would be sitting down at the end of the bar, and then the regulars would tell me, "Oh, we see her vehicle out there. We're not stopping." And I'm like, I can't work here. I literally quit with a note and with my drawer at the end of the night.
And just ran.
For the hills.
The business keeps going though, right? So when she's not there, people go.
People go.
Okay. All right. But that all makes sense. So I also love, back to Bar Rescue, I love how they cast it. So they always bring you in just at the right time. Like Mia, when I want the school teacher to come in and she's great, whatever, I just think this would have been just too much for her. I think we needed you because...
Oh, we talked about it. Mia and I talked about it. When I found out I was going, she was just like, okay, thank God they asked you. But I think that's why
Love Mia.
Mia and I, like, we're so great because we're polar opposites, but we both share that same passion and drive and happiness.
You guys are great together. I know.
She's incredible. She's very good at being stern, and I don't mind being like, what the fuck? Like I don't mind.
No, I know. I see
breaking it down.
But I also know you have a heart too because I've seen that. I know you're a softie deep down. No, but no, you cry at the right times. It's not that you're like that you're a crybaby. It's just people like you. You know how you listen. We need people to be tough. Like I always say, the world is samurai, civilians, and unicorns. And like the samurai have to protect the unicorns from the fucking civilians. You know what I mean? But we need people like you who are tough, to protect the unicorns of the world like Mia. And by the way, you're like a unicorn samurai hybrid.
Thank you.
You're both.
I still want a little bit of the sparkle.
What's that?
I still want a little bit of the sparkle.
Yeah, so you got the unicorn in it. You do. Well, you're unique. That's what I mean by unicorns, because what is a unicorn doesn't exist. It's not real. So it's like, that's when you meet people like that. They're like, wait, where did you come from? So I even see Mia's spirit, which is so incredible, so unique. It's the same thing, but she's sometimes, by the way, she can take care of herself too, though. She's like I said, she's the good school teacher with the ruler to slap your knuckles when she needs to. I just think that certain of these bars, face, some of the bars we've seen, no, I don't want Mia there. I want Lisa Marie with me if I need to. Or by the way, but even you, there's times where I need a dude. I think Phil Wills. There's times where I need a guy, or Russell, who's gonna who's gonna mess around when he needs to. Some of those places you need some testosterone.
Speaking of Phil Wills, he actually was my samurai and protected me when we were doing an event together. He was like my big bro coming in to save the day.
What event did you guys do? Like
we
a bar rescue one?
We were at the World Bartender Championships. We were hosting it together. And at the after party, there was a gentleman who had a little bit too much to drink and decided to slap me on my derriere.
I would never slap Lisa Marie Joyce on the derriere.
And I gave him a look, and Phil just puffed his chest and went over and was like, you do not do that. You respect her. She's a lady.
I am a huge Phil Wills fan. Like, he's my man crush.
He's so wonderful.
Like, you guys are my girl crush. He is my man crush. He is awesome. Now, when you're hosting that because of, did you get that through Bar Rescue, or did they just reach out to you?
Through Fridays. We're both Fridays babies. So we both started with
It's
TGI Fridays.
perfect.
And they brought us back to kind of...
And John works with the Fridays brand.
He does.
Right.
He
so
does.
This is perfect. All right. I know because our fans will get mad because they want to get into Bear Rescue, but I don't know how mad they're going to get because I think people do want to know more about you. No, seriously. No, because you're really special. And by the way, we brought in Vic Vegas, who I'm a huge Vic Vegas fan.
I love him.
Yeah, he's amazing, right? By the way, you and Vic are great because for kitchen and bar, you guys are a terrific tag team.
He's my power couple. We did the Portland episode,
Yes.
Tonic, together.
Yeah, I
where
knew.
We met.
Yeah, because you had to do the whole Portland scene. I'm like, no, we brought in the right people.
Came in with that tough attitude, and we just bonded. And he's so cool. I just like everybody's brother and sister, like to him. He's just so cool. Here's
the title of the show. I have no premise for it. Suicide Kitchens.
Oh, that would be good.
Right? You and him hosting Suicide Kitchens. Now, what the show's about, no idea. None.
We can figure that out.
We'll figure it out later.
That's okay.
But yeah, you guys are like great. And yeah, huge fan of his. And tonight was interesting, and I have theories on why he was. They almost found a way to neutralize the great Vic Vegas.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we'll go over why. Okay, so listen, tonight's episode is entitled Bear Rescue. Great title. And it's a bar that's called Chicks on Dicks. And so my girlfriend was literally like, you heard it in the background. She's like, oh, come on. Like, they're making that up. No, I'm like, that actually is Chicks on Dicks is the name. But then when you see it spelled out, CHIX on DIX.
And the road.
The road's Dix Road, right?
Dix Road.
So it's not so bad. We are in Michigan area. And we see that Richard is a multi-bar owner, and we've seen this on Bar Rescue before, where they own multiple bars, but then there's one or two bars that make them a lot of money they care for, and then the others they kind of neglect.
Right.
So that made sense. Then he brought in his Darren Lee, who the self-proclaimed, I'm like Taffer. I come in and fix things. Which I saw it all, and I could give him I'll give him a little bit of a break as this goes on. And then, of course, we saw Chuck Weisnick, the agent, who was unreal. You know, what sums up to me most of this episode, or the shortcoming of it, is when you're dealing with a clientele that only makes $29,000 a year. And to me, I think that speaks to every single problem here, no matter what you guys could do. But we can get into that later, but maybe we'll take it like step by step. I mean, it's also called the Industrial Strip because Darren Lee, the John Taffer of Michigan, Detroit's version of John Taffer, says, I'm going to come up with a new name, I'm going to rebrand, but it's a half-ass rebrand.
Half-ass, because the owner, Richard, wouldn't let him change the name. So Darren, thinking, well, I'm going to do what I can. I'll change the name on the road, but then I'll still leave the sign.
So he took money
door.
out of the register to put up that new sign?
I don't know where the money came from.
Yeah.
But it was so confusing. We pull up and I'm like, wait, is this two different places?
So you almost automatically lose credibility as Detroit's John Taffer when you're going to do that, because you know you're going to fail. I mean, you can't have two brands going. That's
ridiculous. Yeah, it was very confusing.
Even though we are right near an auto plant, which I first heard that, I said, okay, there's potential here. Tough, though, when $29,000 a year is your median income. That's tough.
Yeah, and the location where they're at there's tons of people driving by, but they're in trucks, going to work with trucks. So nobody's going to park their company truck right there and go into the strip club for lunch.
You know, I never even thought of that. Because first thing when you said trucks, I'm like, well, great, all the truckers. But...
Yeah. So we have to change it to where people want to come there. So right now nobody's driving there because it's not important. It's horrible and disgusting. But if we can change it and make it better and get better girls in there, then people will drive a little extra to get there.
The girls, yeah, I mean, we're going to get to that. But again, to me, it goes back to that median income being so low that's all that they could attract. Anyway, he hangs some guitars, And he calls that his power.
And some silver stuff. What was that? What's that called?
It's called diamond plate.
Diamond plate.
Yeah, diamond plate. Yeah.
Diamond plated that up real good.
Yeah. You know, we've seen worse.
Really, I was surprised when I walked in. I thought, this is not bad.
Well, I think he wasn't delusional, so if he's going to call himself Taffer, he at least is going to have things to be clean and be...
At least he picked the best to call himself.
Right.
Because strive to be anybody, be the best.
But I think I trusted that we wouldn't be dealing with maggots and flies and roaches and rats and all like we usually do. He couldn't be that... Well, we've seen people on the show that insane, but he wasn't that insane.
No, it was...
To call himself that and then have... So at least it was clean and it was... Right?
The kitchen in the bar was. The kitchen in the bar was clean.
Why? Oh, what wasn't? What wasn't clean?
The poles were...
tell me.
Were pretty sticky. Well, you heard...
Sticky?
Well, you heard when she slid down it in one of the shots, the burn. Well, that's just like grime from body parts just being built up on there, I think.
Well,
they don't wipe the pole.
They don't wipe the pole.
No.
Okay, when we're watching this show, and I guess because we'll get into recon, but when I'm going to say sorriest group of strippers I've ever seen.
It was sad.
It was, I mean, God, it's like I don't want to, actually, I could be mean with the, what was her name? Now you got me thinking Sweetie. What was the little troll one?
Sweetie, the little...
Was she a Sweetie? No, I thought
little
that was...
short, dark hair?
That was her name, Sweetie?
Sweetie.
Yeah, okay, I'm confused because your bar was Sweeties. That's
yeah.
Worth it. Okay. Was she dwarf? Was she...
She was a tiny little person.
I mean, but she had like...
But
weird...
No, she was
and looked
normal.
And she wasn't a zombie.
She made herself a zombie, I think.
She made herself that. So the black circles under the eyes and all that. I mean, like
she was very intoxicated.
Yeah, she was very addicted.
And I would assume very addicted.
Very, yeah. Okay, you're right. And I usually am pretty good about that too. Here, it's like I always say assume and not. We don't know, but she was a mess. The other one, who got better, was a slob. She was just hunched over, the big belly, and just like, I'm tired. I don't want to be here.
She was, the thing with her is like 1 minute she can be, like after she had some training, Vic and I were watching her and I was like, whoa, this is a moment right now. She's eye contacting. This is great. But for the most part, it's just like, why are you saying the things? Like, why is that coming out of your mouth? You're sitting in a group of bachelors, as we saw in the recon, and she's telling them, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to go up there. Like, this is your job.
Right.
Like, you chose that job. You don't have to go up there. You can go get another job. There's plenty of other jobs out there. But you chose this job, and that's a fine job. I am not a prude. Strippers are beautiful.
You make so much money. Are you kidding me?
I've been to strip clubs myself. It's wonderful, but you have to be confident in your body and confident in yourself and know that you're there to do a job.
Right.
Like, you got to smile.
I mean, you would think, right?
There's times I don't want to go back behind a bar and talk to people either, but you'd never know it.
That's your job. Yeah, yeah.
It's my job.
So much of this we always say is the fish stinks from the head down or something like that, but it's the top.
You want to talk about fish right now?
No, you're right. I don't. You went there, not me.
Sorry.
I'm glad it was you.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad it was you. Ugh. Really gross. But anyway, but when you don't have someone running this thing properly and teaching and empowering and bringing positivity, or at least raising standards, this is what you're going to get.
Yeah, and they didn't have a house mom. So
yeah, you need one of those, right?
In most very successful entertainment clubs, gentlemen's clubs, strip clubs, whatever you want to call them, there's a house mom that can be there for those girls and help them get ready and look nice and have good hygiene. And it was just a bunch of drunk girls surrounded by dudes. And
so we kind of bring in a house mom with what was
an agent, Chuck.
No, not him. No, we brought in. It was one of our experts.
We brought in a house mom.
Yes,
Renee Lemons.
Renee.
Yes.
So Renee, I'm like, wait, this is a really pretty lady, and she's really smart. And then I said, I bet you anything she was a stripper back in the day. And then definitely was because we see she can move. Like, she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Right? Like why not go through the stripper system, make yourself a ton of money, then get to an age where you go corporate, have your benefits, make tons of money. Like,
now she runs.
She has like a multi-million-dollar brand.
Yeah. And she was trying to tell these girls, like, you are your own business. Like, this is your body is what is making your money. You're your own business. You have to take ownership of that. And her view on the industry and just getting to meet her and her past and all the stuff that she's done to get to where she's at now is incredible.
Think of the stories she could tell.
Oh, she told a lot of them, and they were fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, I wish I could tell them.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll try to get her in here. I would love to get her in here because I've never had someone like that have a positive and intelligent take on stripping. Most of the strippers, are not like that. They're cynical, they're jaded, they're bitter, they're cutthroat. Just the ones that I've seen. Mm-hmm. But why not have that take where it's a great money-making profession, and you're providing a service? And I always say, with strip clubs, I never got them when I was younger. I didn't get the whole, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to spend a lot of money, and then not go on a date with the girl. Like, I can say, if I'm spending $200, $300, $400, $500, we're going to exchange phone numbers, and then we're going to go to dinner or whatever, but nothing, I didn't get it. Then you get in a committed relationship for a long time. Now I get it. Oh my God, I get it. I mean, I probably go every couple of years because someone has a bachelor party or whatever, but it's amazing. You go in, they tell you all these great lies about yourself. You feel like a rock star. And then just by the time any trouble can happen, lights go on and bouncers throw you out the door and you're good. And you go home to your life and you're reset for another 2 years, but I get it. And I get the value, but I never saw such a take on it as I did from her.
She gave a beautiful take on it, and she really tried to connect with those girls and tell them.
She did with
listen.
The one blonde girl who was a good dancer.
She was.
She just needed a makeover. Like a lot of them, I felt, and again, I rarely critique the producing because I think Bar Rescue is so well produced, but I think that I would have tried to bring in someone to do makeovers on those girls because
we did on the last day. They got makeovers for their reveal.
Oh, that's right, because I saw a hair and makeup person brushing out them, doing brush outs and stuff.
Yeah, so they did on the last day. I wish we had time. I mean, because there's so much going on, especially when we're bringing another expert in a whole nother area of training. I was even like, I'll sit down and just do like a little makeup class with them and like teach them how to do my hair, because I think some of them didn't have moms that helped them do that, or sisters or aunts.
You could tell, that makes sense.
So they just didn't know.
Right, and they're in a depressed community, right? So they probably didn't have much access to many things. But when I thought the blonde girl, she had a great body. She danced really well. It was just like, I think that, she could have worn things better. I know there's one of the bartenders had no teeth, one of the servers.
One of the bartenders was missing a little bit.
Yeah, a few choppers. Okay, we can work around that. The bartender though, Michelle, was phenomenal.
She was.
And I like it when, see, what I like about your show is other shows like yours in all the spaces, not just bar and restaurant, but in renovation or whatever, they do the same exact show every week. So if other people producing this show, every bartender would suck. And it's, I swear, like for Kitchen Nightmares, which got me introduced to Bar Rescue, every single show, Gordon would take a bite out of the meal, spit it into his napkin. It's like, I like on Bar Rescue where if you guys were doing that show, it'd be like, okay, wow, this is actually really good. If it was, and you'd say it doesn't. So I love that you guys liked Michelle, because as I saw her and the way she was interacting, like, oh God, please don't pick on her, guys, because this bar is so bad that this is your one bright spot. You have to empower and uplift her. And of course, what John being the master, and you too, you guys knew that was the. She
had the most amazing personality behind the bar. Like, she was just driving the energy. It was sad that everything around her was falling asleep, literally. But she really drove the energy. She just didn't have the skill because they were using that liquor control system.
Pour, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, she could only make one drink at a time, and it was like ridiculous. So when we finally got to touch real bottles and pour, it took her a little bit to figure out using real bar tools.
Did she learn?
She did.
Because she had the attitude. Guys, hire for heart, train for skill. I say it all the time.
She had a mini freak out on me in the middle of the reveal where it was like, oh my God, I don't know if I know any of these drinks. But the great thing about her and her personality is she straightens up, she gets her shit together, and she puts on that show, which is so important to have a personality like that behind a bar of a strip club, because you have to support those girls on the stage. If there's any animosity between the strippers and the bartenders, it's done. It's uncomfortable for the guests. They're not going to stay.
There's also something about certain people. I've even noticed this with my dogs, right? I love rescuing animals, and I've had a couple that were so badly abused. I mean, one of our babies was beaten within an inch of her life, and like they took her body to the hospital. Basically, some volunteer just dropped the body in front of her place and hoping for the best. And through a lot of money and operations, we saved her. And her name was Athena, and Athena was in a kennel her whole life. Basically, I think the first few months of her life, she had a family, and then what a lot of the bad kennels will do, the puppy mills will do, is they'll adopt pure breeds, and what they do is they just put them in jail. Basically, they put them in the kennel, and they just breed them and spit out kids, breed them, spit out kids. So poor Athena for like 6 years, and then when she killed another litter of puppies to make room for hers, the guy beat her within an inch of her life, and then we got her, and in the matter of months, high fives, smiles, and she, and there was just so many lessons in her, like just certain creatures, but people too, no matter what place you put them in, they're okay. Like that girl Michelle, like I could have her come work here and she'd be awesome.
She just needed
There's
some
just certain people
education.
that no matter what, they're gonna smile through it, and that's just such a unique spirit, and I don't have it. I would be totally taken down by that environment. I'd either will to fight them and make it the environment I want, or I'd put up with it long enough until I could escape out the back door.
I mean, I was pretty hard on her on the reveal and saying, like, you got to get your shit together, like pour gin and tonic, and she took it, and with all that going on, she was just.
Yeah, because she wasn't making it. And also, we've seen a lot of those pretty bartenders, but it's all about them. Mm-hmm. They're the star, and forget it. Like, you can't. And they're so used to everyone kissing their ass and flirting with them or whatever that forget it. They have what I call pretty girl syndrome.
She is the saving grace.
Yeah, so the one person that was decent. John, I think, said, and I always look, when we do the show, I'm always looking for Bar Rescue first, and like we always think of, this is the dirtiest bar, this is this bar, this is that bar, and when John says this is the most depressing bar ever, which I love.
It was, though. Right. It was so sad.
So depressing, right?
It was so sad.
Yeah, and you could tell it was so dead. Well, when John. Were you the one who said the liquor control cock block? That's a Lisa Marie Joyce line. Yeah, what a surprise. It's okay. I get it.
I always have to ask first, like, what are the words I'm not allowed to say?
No, we're new media. You can play around here. Well, we brought in we have to make mention. We brought in the 8 guys from a bachelor party, and the girl, the fatty's fallen asleep. What's her name? Selena.
No, Selena was the blonde.
No, she was the good blonde. Oh, that's right, because I have my little thumbs up thing here. Whatever her name is, it's a mess. The guys, what a sad bachelor party. I'm hoping that was just done for television. That's not the real bachelor party, because I don't think we sent the guy off in the right way.
We did not give him a good bachelor send off.
John comes right in, and then I always look for that moment where he's like, "That's it, I have to go in." So he has his moment. He storms in, and he calls out the future John Taffer, or whatever, the John Taffer of Detroit. He calls him out for whatever he's doing. Oh, look at this. Oh, I love my little Marisky. See that?
Thank you.
So poor Lisa Marie Joyce
I'm sniffling.
She's sniffling because she's getting emotional, or she's done coke. And anyway, she's not done coke. Anyway, but
My mom will watch this.
no,
Careful.
Mama. Oh no, Mama Joyce. Sorry, I love your daughter. She's amazing. I'm a huge fan. But John comes in and he goes at it with Darren Lee, and hammers him back and forth or whatever. And John, being John, recognizes the strippers are so bad, right? Like if it's a strip club, even if you had a bar that had bad food and bad service and bad, it was a dirty bar. If you have hot strippers, it's still going to work.
Yeah.
Might not work the best, but if you had, if they're moderately hot, or even if they're attractive strippers, but they're all in.
I just want to look
fine.
at a 5 or 6. 5 or 6 is...
A 5 or 6 is great.
It's great.
But why John's such a genius is he went right after Chuck, because if you can get me a 5 or 6 who's all in, we got a shot. But we have no shot. Because, by the way, it also works that if the food's amazing there, if it's clean and the service is excellent and the alcohol is great, but all the girls suck, your bar still sucks as a strip bar.
Your bar still sucks.
So John goes right at this guy. And you know what I always say about people too? It's like, as soon as you pushed over everything, you got your answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that?
Like Big Baby.
You got your answer. Meaning, is that someone you should be doing any business with ever? It's funny. Today I got a text from a friend, and she was saying a lawyer of all people, put up a big Facebook. Like this guy's like 60-something years old. Put out a big Facebook post with subtext messaging about her and her case and people and this, that, and the other thing. And it was like, if I told you like a 13-year-old girl wrote this, that you'd be like, oh, that makes sense. But I said, okay, now are you just gonna stop working with this guy? Like, not, like you've got your answer.
Yeah.
So when this guy, this big adult baby, which by the way, like how many of us are really just little 8-year-olds? And when you see that that's what it is, it's just a child, to go and push over all that stuff. Like you've got your answer.
Yep.
That's not someone you do business with. Done. You know what I mean? Fine. Did he find out he was diagnosed with cancer? Did we tell him, like, do we threaten him? Do we take like? There's when someone does that, that's who that is. See ya. That's it. You got your answer. If you had any question in your brain, Darren Lee, you got your answer.
Yep.
As soon as he did that, you got your answer. And John was like, "That's it. We're not bringing him back." We all know by the end what's going to happen, but let's go with the in sequence. We get rid of him.
See you later.
See you later. And so we start working with this group, right? So we go into stress test and we figure out, okay, John puts Darren in the kitchen, and I've seen John do this before, where he's like, okay, you're a big guy physically, you're definitely a big mouth, and you're saying I'm John, I'm the Taffer. So clearly your ego needs to be put in check.
Yeah.
And I'm sure part of it is like, yeah, okay, let's start with being in the kitchen and be in the kitchen and manage the place. So it was humbling. One of my problems, one of my problems with the show is now that's become so popular is everyone loves the show so much that there's a couple of guys here and there that have learned to behave. Like the workout guy 2-3 weeks ago was he was in really good shape. I think maybe it was a Chicago bar. I'm not sure. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Bald guy. Anyway, it was one of the worst episodes I've ever seen of our series, and I do nothing but applaud the series. But he snuck by casting because he basically just wanted a free run. He just wanted a free makeover, so he played the game. And by the way, that's why the episode was soft. He was just a kind of a bullying narcissist, but he knew enough to get what he wanted. And this guy kind of running food and yep, okay, and he's getting yelled at. You notice how he really didn't snap back much because he knew I think if we got this guy season 1, would have been a different story.
Yeah.
He would have fought back. He would have been, because he didn't know John. Now they know John, so there's and most of the time, because it's a 4-day process, I find that we can break these people because we have 4 days of being so intense that even as I always say, the mask falls off, But
absolutely.
But it's hard. A lot of people, try to keep that mask on, and some are able to keep it on longer than others. So I think he kind of kept the mask on. What would you say?
I think he did a little. I think the process is like so intense. It's almost like there's times where I'll see people jump right back at John, and then there's times where they're literally scared. They know he's going to yell anyways. They don't want to make it worse than what it's going to be.
He yells at me sometimes, and I'm scared.
Yeah, I've been a little half-tapped. It was fine.
Yeah. You've been a little tap-tapped? No, not you.
Yeah, a little half-tapped.
Half-tapped?
Yeah, but it was fine. I got an ice cream truck later, so it was great.
Afterwards, you got your ice cream?
Yeah, I got ice cream, so it was totally cool.
Okay, but wait a second. Why would you get half-tapped?
I didn't know. We were in the middle of training, and he said, how many ounces are in a liter? And I just blanked. My mind just went blank. It was like my second episode, and I'm like, I don't know my name right now.
How could you not know that?
He was very nice about it. He just said, you need to know that stuff.
Oh, so you didn't get
it was half.
It was a quarter taff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a lady. He's nice to ladies.
I think you got a third taff. I think you got like a sliver of taff. He's nice to ladies, but face lady, like some of the beasts.
Yeah, if you're a beast, you're getting it.
I think he's into it. You have to be just.
But that's why he's great, because he's passionate. And
yes,
I will never forget that it's 33.8 ounces in a liter, no matter how stunned I am. And he's so passionate. He knows that people can do good, so he has to break them down to
build them back up.
But
you've got to break all those bad habits, and it's
you have to call it out.
I was telling him, we were texting back and forth, because I always text him after I see the show, and I'm very honest with my critiques, and 98% of the time I'm like gushing, because I still can't believe the show is still giving us new information, still giving us new characters. John's still surprising me with the ideas and the concepts and his coaching techniques, which change week to week according to the person, which just shows why he's just such a genius. But I am now at the point where I'm tired for him. I don't know how he does it.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't know how he goes to a place far, far from home, some of these cities, and just be trapped there for a few weeks at a lot of these small towns don't necessarily have the best accommodations, best travel. So to get there and stay there, and he's older, and to put that much wear and tear on his body and stress, and to be dealing with the knuckleheads and numbskulls who fight him back. And I know it makes great TV, but I am always worried about how it's tearing John up inside.
He is, well, not only himself, but then he's responsible for this entire group of people.
Right.
The crew is the most phenomenal group of people I've ever met in my entire life. I always tell them, I'll just come PA for you.
Yeah, no, really.
If you want me to just hang out with you.
2.5 days, really, when you think about it, to really, I have a background in renovation and construction. Thank God I had a father that did that stuff, and I've done all of our studios myself by hand, and I am always blown away at what they do in that record amount of time. And
then John's responsible for all those people as well, making sure that they're happy. So he's got a ton on his plate. But it's John fucking Taffer.
That's what it is. He's a rock star. He just is. He's just Bon Jovi. Yeah,
he's just the coolest, most genuine, passionate man that is so smart about his industry. And he'll go from getting into it with somebody and being like crazy to then us walking away and being like, so how's your husband? Like,
right.
Generally just being so genuine.
Right.
Like he's great.
So LMJ, I'm going to ask you this. Do you get as violent as I do when these bar owners get $500,000 worth of renovations in consulting and they're like, yeah, that was nothing. Like Pirates. Okay, so we don't do this anymore. We used to clock in when I would reference Pirates, because I literally would reference it every single episode. But I've missed a couple last week. The Pirates episode. But I could see you as getting really upset.
It infuriates me. Like infuriates me. When I found out, the very first episode I did was in Dallas. Thirsty's Roadside Bar we turned into.
Yeah.
They end up selling off a bunch of the stuff. I don't even think they do the cocktails anymore. There's been another one that I've done that they don't even do the cocktails. It's dirty again, I hear. I get so pissed off I mean, because I leave my email. I stay in contact with all the bartenders.
Wow.
Anytime they want to reach
Love
out
you.
to me, I'm like, I mean, I love getting a text message or a Facebook message from someone that's like, Heather from Tonic. I just made like $300 last night, and I was like entertaining everybody, and
It's amazing.
I just love it. So when it's, and I tell people, you have to buy into it. You have to do what we're telling you to do. And so when they don't, it's just infuriating. My poor husband has to listen to it all the time.
Okay, but wait. Okay, and then, so I'm not even talking about the ones who don't listen. I'm talking about the ones who get all that and go, that was nothing. They just blah, blah, blah. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Their staff is this, that. And it's like, really? Really? Mm-hmm. So at the very, like, I remember I had the lady on Pirates, and I remember talking to her on the, we interviewed her, and I remember saying, so the new POS systems, I saw a lot of stainless steel get rolled in there, and I happen to know from scrap metal business, like, just none of that. Nope. None of that helped us at all. None of that is, nope, nothing.
They're idiots.
It's like, well, right. And that's why they're just destined to fail, and they generally do. Although, John's failure rate of bars closing, is if you look at all these other like kind of fix a business shows, it's the lowest. Mm. It's like a very high percentage of most of his bars are still, I think it's like over 3/4 are still going.
Most of them are successful, but it really infuriates me when they say like it wasn't real or that whatever.
I've done 2 of them as a guest on the show, and I'll be honest, John's my friend. If it was cooked, I wouldn't say. I just wouldn't say. I wouldn't touch on the subject or whatever. I wouldn't say. I would say, well, listen, I want to get into it because I was on the show. But I'm just telling you that from doing it, the 2 episodes I did, I saw both times where John was right then and there presented with the information. Okay, here's this owner, here's this, it's the bar name. I mean, the fact that in that amount, like I would, I'd like to say I'm a pretty creative guy for the things I've created in my life. I would need information on that bar. I would think like, even on the plane getting there, I want to review everything and have an idea. Nothing. He just walks right in.
He walks in
and starts going, okay, this.
And people fill him in when we get there. Like when I get there and John gets there, because we kind of all fly in. The crew has been there for a couple days, obviously.
Scouting,
They're putting cameras in, scouting and all that.
Yep.
But we do that walkthrough after the recon, and it's literally my favorite part. It's not filmed. There's no camera guys. Camera guys all take a break. And it's when John walks through and we're just standing in the room, and to watch his mind work. Like, I'll have an idea of cocktails that I want to do, like what's in the area, what they can get. And then he'll just be like, I want a window over here, and I want this over here, and I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to have this here. And what do you think about cocktails like this? Get behind the bar. I think we should do this here, and we need another. I mean, it's just like word vomit out of his mouth, one after another. That was a terrible way to put that. It was just one after another. His creativity is so instant.
Right.
Instant. It's incredible.
I think as America gets to know him better, and it's one of the greater goals I have for John, not that he has to do anything else in this world or prove anything else in life, but he's really beyond a bar guy and a nightlife guy. He's a brand expert, and I think even beyond that, he is I think there's a lot he could offer to small and medium businessmen and entrepreneurs. I think in terms of building just general businesses, one things we do here is from the first season, I made my whole staff watch the show. And some of them were just scared the way John was yelling and things like that. But I was doing it because most of those principles that go on in the bar and on Bar Rescue are principles we can recycle here. And so they understand when I'm asking them to do certain things, now they know why. And you don't want to be like those other losers that do business the way they do business. Like we saw tonight. Bringing it back to like, so now my guys hopefully would know that if we ever see somebody that would smash a display on one of our tables, that's it, out, never to be seen again.
Bye.
Goodbye. They showed you who they are. Vic Vegas, I'll tell you why my theory and why poor Vic was neutralized. Like, it's tough to neutralize Vic Vegas, but I think that I think there was so much more going on with the strippers, right? We couldn't even get to food. It seemed like it did. It felt like we couldn't even get to food because, again, if you do not have the strippers and they're not performing even in a decent way, let alone, I know it's going to sound weird, decent stripper, but if you don't have them performing, they don't have to be a peak performance, but at least, you know, a decent level, your bar's going to close. So I think most of the time went in there. So then it's like, and we don't have a chef for Vic to beat up and yell at. It's this guy's not his chef. So so I kind of felt like my Vic was a little lost.
Vic, he rode in the back seat for this one. Yeah, which was sad because I love when Vic goes.
Yeah, you need Vic. Like, no, one of my favorites, one of the most underrated episodes. I'm glad you brought up was where you and Vic, because it was like, oh man, no, we had to go to the bench. It was like you got Mia and you got, you know, Chef Nick, and okay, fine. No. We had to go to the bench. Yeah. We had to bring in the bad guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had to bring in the bad guys.
I love it.
Okay. We had to equalize for the Portland. By the way, one of the things I was saying about the Portland episode, but even Portland in general, and you've been to Portland, right?
Yeah.
I can tell your whole vibe is Portland, but there's you would represent the brighter side of Portland. To me, there's just unfortunately a lot of zombies walking around there that are so deeply addicted, and it's a culture that supports the addiction and pays for the addiction, and the homelessness and all that stuff. And so that's why I remember that episode specifically. But then I just knew, okay, no, we got the right. I sat back. I was able to recline my seat, enjoy that, because I knew we were good. I knew you and Vic Vegas were going to handle things. But by the way,
it was fun.
I think I got to hit the EP. Hopefully they'll find another episode for you guys, because it's just.
We have so much fun together.
You guys are great. No, you guys are great together. And I say it every week, but there's a core of talent there that needs to be exploited. It's like you and Phil Wills and Vic and Mia and Nick and Russell. There's a lengthy list of people that we need to see more of, and some other capacity, because you guys are not just good at your jobs, you're actually good on camera.
Thank you.
You know, you guys are really good on camera. But Vic on this one was neutralized, which now hopefully, Nick, when you're hearing this, you know you're going to go extra crazy for me for the next time around. So we have what I always call the sit down, where John. So we get this weird agreement, like 60 days you're going to be able to run the business. Darren and Richard's going to stay out of it for 60 days.
A lot of the hard part was Richard, the owner, prevented Darren Lee from doing anything really he wanted to do. He was a huge tight ass on money. And that's why they had like that liquor control system. Their bar couldn't execute, so if these people can't get drinks, they're not going to go over to the dancers. Like, it was just so weird. And
because you're tight with the money, that's why you're getting the dancers you're getting. But then at the same time, I have to say, like, with a median income of $29,000, it's hard to support that. So,
absolutely.
But keep going.
As an owner, though, you have to know, like, if you want to use a liquor control system, go to an airport. Like, if you're in a bar where it's got to be engaging and supposed to be flirty and friendly and fun, you've got a free pour. You got to, I don't know if you got to pour test them every day.
That's an old timer who just thinks everyone's stealing. So,
every time.
And cheapskate.
And that's why we had to give him the 60 days. Like, let him do it for 60 days. Let him do what he needs to do, because the owner was just, I mean, to me, the owner was the biggest block. Darren Lee actually had good ideas. And
like I said, the bar itself didn't look bad.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
But he was not given... He had his hands tied.
And I think that, you know, to me, the biggest mistake was Chuck, because without your strippers, you're nothing. And when you have people who are addicted, and let's just say, I'm presuming, you know, that some of them were, it's tough. It's really tough to go there. You know, you can have a couple, but then you have to have that strong, like you said, den mom or whatever you called her, you know.
Well, and Renee and I, Renee brought up a good point of Chuck called himself their agent. And we're asking, I mean, because he brought the girls. So apparently this is a big thing in Detroit where they have agents, they bring the girls. And my thing was, well, what are you paying your agent? Nothing. well, then why are you needing a name? Like, what's going on here?
So what is that? So what is it? Are they just his friends?
But he pays their cell phone bills and drives them to work.
He does?
And yes.
So then
So he's
Chicks
not
on
an agent.
Dicks pays him.
Chicks on Dicks pays him to bring in girls.
Right. And so what he does is he takes some of that money to pay a couple of their bills and basically have, and who knows, whatever on the, is there anything on the side? Funny business on the side?
I mean, I wouldn't say I know anything, but that's just what I assume if somebody's paying me my cell phone bill and taking me to work every day. But Renee brought up a good point that it's your body. What do you need an agent for? You walk in and say, I want to dance on the stage, and if you make that club money, they're going to let you dance on that stage.
Right. Again, you need a leader, right? Like Darren to say, okay, Chuck, you're out. I'm going to now take some of my time to go drive around and go to these other dance clubs. Hey, we can do this. We can offer that. I think where the bar is so, it's such bad shape, such a bad area that it wasn't very attractive. But then you know what my solution would be? As I would be like, okay, I would go get pretty inexperienced girls and say, listen, at the very least, right? It's like, remember when you were probably a rock star in the bar business, but for most of us, it's just you just want to get behind any bar you can just to get that official title of bartender.
I was absolutely that. Yep.
Okay, right? So was I. So for me, if I'm running Chicks on Dicks, what I would be doing is finding really pretty girls who are totally green.
Yeah.
And instead of spending money on Chuck, buy the den mother to train them and say, listen, you might not make a lot here. We're trying to build a business. We'll hopefully we'll all make money together. But at the very least, we don't. You're going to learn a ton here, and you're going to be able to graduate and go on to other clubs and make a ton of money.
Genius.
And that's what should have been done. But there was one takeaway. There was two takeaways in this, but the one I had mentioned, but the fact that quinine in tonic water glows in blue light.
Tonic glows.
Did you know that?
When we were in the venue and we're looking at it, and there's a lot of black lights and.
But did you ever know that before?
No.
It's just another amazing tap.
No, I had to figure it out.
So my big thing is 97 shows in, we're still learning these cool things, right?
Every time.
It's amazing.
I learn something new every time I go, or something that I've done that I didn't really know why I did it. And then John will be like, well, you know why, right? Let me tell you why.
Yeah, it's amazing,
and
right?
then all of a sudden I get like a 15-minute speech on science, and I'm just like, like huge bar boner. That's amazing.
Right.
I
it's
said
funny,
bar boner.
Bar boner. No, it's okay. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hearing it. I'm sure our fans did as well. But even I'm even thinking, because I have a couple of bars, not for business but recreation. Like I'm the guy that I've taken one room in our house and really, John did it for me, but he pimped it out, made it. We call it the Taffer Bar, but it's amazing. But we recommend on this show, we see some of these bar owners like, just spend the money and make a bar in your basement and play bar owner rather than spend all your money on, we see that a lot. But now that I know about the tonic water, I'm going to apply that. I think that's great.
Yeah, it was fun and it looked great.
Let's get to we're running out of time. Let's get to the exterior of the Power Strips. We rebrand the name Power Strip, which I love.
Loved it.
And I thought that for the exterior dressing, I thought it's one of the best Bar Rescue exteriors I've ever seen.
It looked great.
To go from where it went to where it became.
Yep, it was perfect for the concept. It was clean, but there was still, like
the lightning bolt or whatever, the power bolt. Yeah.
Yep. It was. I really liked it.
I loved.
Gorgeous, and the fact that they can do that in so quick a time, it's ridiculous.
And then we go inside, and beautiful, right?
Yes, that bar was amazing.
Right? Crazy good. What was some of the? Other than the dance floor now was amazing, and the illuminated poles.
The poles were awesome. Awesome. That was the first thing I wanted to do was let me touch the pole. That looks so cool. They had the booths cleaned up. They resituated some things just to make it more sense. The chairs, obviously, around the stage, they had these crappy old chairs for guys to sit in to watch this. So we got beautiful new chairs, a beautiful new bar, another well behind the kitchen or behind the bar. The kitchen got cleaned up. It was just beautiful.
Gorgeous,
on
right?
the inside.
Oh my God. And okay, so one of the things it's like I just gush about the show. I can't help it. I gush about you guys because I love you guys too. To me, it's the best thing on television. But what I love is not only do we not get the traditional black screen that gives us the epilogue, we get a video testimonial from Darren Lee, and he says, we not making money, we're actually losing more money now, we're making less money, just something like that, we're failing. And he admitted he brought back Chuck, which is a total fail, and he brought back Sweetie, which is like triple fail. And I'm going to give Darren Lee a thumbs down. I don't think, even though you said he had some good ideas or whatever, you cannot have a successful strip joint without decent strippers. You know, like at least give me mediocre strippers. And you're bringing in that person who had a terrible attitude, was addicted. You could tell she was one of those people that just would not listen to authority. And by the way, you can have strippers who are like that. In fact, most of the strippers I've met are like that, but they're fucking hot strippers. They're really...
If you're a 10, you can be that way.
Right. You know what I mean? Or even if you're a 7, like you said, but you wear it well, you dance well, or whatever. So yeah, to me, it's like, until that problem gets fixed, there is no strip joint.
That was my struggle because I really liked Darren. He had some good ideas, but the problems that I saw with him is that he listens, but there's no action. So he listened to everything John told him, and he was very appreciative, and he's been wonderful, and he's reached out to me many times since then, which is great. But you hired Chuck back. You brought Sweetie back. Like,
and by the way, that is just, that's laziness when you do that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's like, well, Chuck does get the girls. Fine, I'll deal with him. Oh, well, Sweetie, you know what? She does show up. You know, I mean, she's consistent. Like, these are the things that lazy people do.
Drunk.
Right. Well, I see this in a lot of businesses. It's like, you know what? Get off your ass. Fix the friggin' problem. I know it's going to suck. I know it's going to suck to have to interview a lot of people. I know it's going to suck to have to go around bars and recruit people or whatever. Like, I gave you the idea for make this like the minor leagues for strippers. Fine, whatever. But that's going to take work. And don't tell me that, oh, well, then I can't run the bar, because the bar, there's no one in there, so it's holding its own anyway.
If you're a John Taffer, I say that loosely, leave. Why are you still there, Darren? That's what I'd ask Darren. Why don't you, if you're so good and you're fighting against this owner, you're not making money, and you're fighting against Chuck and Sweetie and blah, 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 leave and go do a bar that's successful.
He wasn't running any of that other guy's bars. Legit, this was the only one he was running.
This was the only one he was running.
Yeah, well... And then again, I don't know. Because you're probably not.
That's
John
what's disappointing.
Taffer, and you're not highly employable. You're not as you know. I mean, I feel like if you had a regular bar, an Irish bar, just something like that really didn't have to deal with entertainment or whatever, and we're just pouring alcohol, nice beer and wine bar.
Yeah,
he'd kill it. He'd kill.
He'd be fantastic.
Crush.
But he is in. I just don't understand. I just want to smack him against the head.
Well, listen, message Darren, you have to fix this is gonna sound crazy. You gotta fix the strippers. Fix the strippers. I think, listen, I was so excited. We went to a strip club, so that's another bar rescue first that we did. I was wondering, it was long overdue. I don't know. Did you see the previews for next week? I didn't catch them.
I didn't catch them either. I know.
All right, can we get you back here?
Next week?
Whatever you want.
Definitely in the new year. I'm getting ready to leave to go out of town for Christmas, but I would love
to be back. I bet you. Hey, Marissa or John?
Yeah.
Jonathan, do you know if Bar Rescue is next week, new episode or no?
That I don't know.
Okay. All right. Why don't you take us out, and then I'll be yelling at you off the air for not knowing. Okay. Just kidding. I'm joking. Oh, wait, Lisa Marie Joyce, where do we find you?
Oh, I'm on Facebook under Lisa Marie Joyce. I've got a little fan page there. Instagram, Lisa freaking Marie. And Twitter, _Lisa Marie.
Love it. Okay. Undergaro for me. One of my Make-A-Wish came true. See, John was my first one.
Yay.
And so I can't even believe I got to meet him. And then I got to meet Mia, and I've met Russell. I've met Chef Nick. I have not yet met Phil. Now I've met you, so Phil Wills is my last one. But no, you're amazing. No, but come up, please. This added so much to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys. So we will be back. I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but we will be back. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Lisa Marie Joyce, Lisa Marie Joyce, Lisa Marie Joyce.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.